Ladies and gentlemen, the week one of the WBE has cleaned up. We have all of our matches. Let's take a look at my top 5 picks for matches to watch this week. Let's do it. Here we are, guys. This is the Melbourne Rotoms with Aaron Cybertron Zhang leading the way with them. He got a fantastic, while slightly cheap strategy play here, using Whimsicott with Switcheroo and an eject button and his Toxicity right out the front to be able to hit into the G-Max Snorlax slot before it can make any move whatsoever, immediately ejecting it out of the match back into the back line of the party. Let's take a watch. Here you can see the Gigantamax come off for the Snorlax, and we see the Whimsicott go for the Switcheroo here. Obviously, switching that eject button and getting a set of leftovers. Riolu going for coaching, trying to set that Snorlax up and maximize its offensive and defensive prowess. But Toxicity is going to have nothing of it, where it gets a beautiful overdrive off here, popping that eject button on the Snorlax and sending it back to the back line. Definitely a sucky situation to try and climb out of for Sierra of Anime, and a great match to watch just for his commentary over top of it. Next up, we have Reversal. Reversal being our number 4 slot for the day. He lost his video file, so we actually see him overviewing over top of Poise's view and talking very briefly about his strategy to deal with Cobalion. His strategy to deal with Cobalion was actually really strong, as you'll see here, where he actually goes very well in with a Will-O-Wisp straight out the gate with Gengar to be able to immediately half the +6 attack that was just gained from Cobalion using the standard beat-up strategy with a Alolan Persian. Obviously, still a lot of damage output for a frail Gengar, but you'll see in his later matches with Poise, this actually come into major play and able to secure him the victory in the match number 3. Next up, we're going with number 3. We're now back on Poise's side of the match for this very awe-inspiring and frightening scenario that he got put in towards the end of match 1. He's standing up at 2-1 right now with Rillaboom and Rotom on the field, but he still has to deal with this intimidating Gyarados and its Dynamax size. Let's take a watch as he goes in to try and deal with, and is talking through right now, how he doubled into it with Grassy Glide and Thunderbolt. And the question was, did he do his EVs correctly to have enough of the damage with Grassy Glide to be able to pick the kill up with Thunderbolt? As you'll see here, the Grassy Glide will come off from Poise. It'll do a good chunk of damage. We're looking at somewhere in the 15 to 20% range there. Max Airstream coming out. Obviously, Gyarados trying to set back up on him as Rillaboom goes down to 1 at Max Airstream here. Definitely a super strong contender. Crit didn't matter there. I did run the calcs for it afterwards. Didn't matter. You watch Rillaboom go down. And now the question is, does this Thunderbolt pick it up? And it does. What great playing, great EV, and great specking of his Rotom Heat to be able to take that Gyarados down in match 1. Alright guys, we are down to the number 2 slot. Number 2 going to my boy A-Drive and his beautiful play of a Pokemon that most people consider to be awful and hated. We're talking about Turtonator here. His Turtonator just finished a Dynamax and was looking at overwhelming odds with a Dracovish and a Musharna sitting on the far side. And as you guys will come to see here, the Dracovish goes for a helping-handed Rock Slide into the Turtonator slot, and it just has that defense to hang on. Popping its weakness policy as well, being its fire typing to get that super attack and special attack raise. And he comes back with a huge Draco Meteor out into the Dracovish here, being able to pick up that kill immediately and still be at an even spread for its special attack stats. Obviously, great pickup, great match 1 win for A-Drive and the crew. And finally, for our number 1 slot of the match to watch this week for the WBE VGC Week 1, I'm giving it to Nerd Out Music, and I'm probably going to have a hard time not giving it to him almost every week, because Jack and his crew have the best commentary as you watch these matches. I'm going to highlight 2 audio clips here. I'm going to go on mute to make sure you guys get the enjoyment out of them, but they are just so good at having one of the fellow members of Nerd Out Music commentate the matches for Jack and be able to really have this amount of in-depth discussion that you'd expect from Aaron Zhang and the rest of the crew that do the normal Worlds coverage here. So let's take a listen.
revenge. Sweet, sweet revenge for last game. There is no way Machamp can survive a +2 airstream, and it boosts the speed for both Virizion and Cloetza.
That's sweet, sweet revenge. You want nothing but more of it as life goes on. Let's move to our second clip here, being super funny in his ability to talk about his G-Max Vocalith in G-Max Colossal, and here it comes.
Lowering the attack of both Pokemon, however, it doesn't matter as they're both special attackers. And right off the bat, we have everyone's favorite, it's After the last game, the Guardians know how devastating that Colossal can be, so the Incineroar goes for...
Definitely a fantastic match to watch for anybody who wants to listen to good VGC commentary from guys who know what they're doing. Super awesome, great work to Nerd Out Music for the win overall in their Week 1 series, and best of luck to them on Week 2. Alright, just a final shout out here, only because we're not doing necessarily full coverage of the league, and I figured you guys would want to see the general stats of the match. Here is Week 1 of the WBE in your win-loss ratios for the week. Obviously, coming out on top, we have the South Texas Sableyes, Melbourne Rotoms, Big Leak Energy, the DC Dracovish, Chicago Black Flock, London Bisharps, the 8th Hawk Luchas, as you just saw, and the Furies Fishes coming out with their Week 1 victories. Definitely something to keep your eyes on as we move into Week 2 this weekend. Alright guys, there you have it. There are your 5 matches to watch this week for Week 1 of the WBE. Definitely go give all the content creators some love, but definitely start with those ones if you want to get hyped for the WBE this season. Obviously, make sure you're checking out our WBE breakdowns. They are up over here. And make sure you're clicking subscribe to our channel. That way you get all the good coverage content of the VGC. We'll catch y'all for the next one. Peace.